Hello everybody, welcome to the video. Today's video is going to be going over why Battlefield 5's gunplay is the worst in franchise history. Contrary to popular belief, Battlefield 5's gunplay is not the best in the series. It is actually objectively the worst in the series, and this video will be going over exactly why. I've been putting this video off for quite a long time. I just really wanted to make sure that I was correct in my thoughts, and I spent a lot of time, obviously playing the game, streaming the game, just kind of with these thoughts in the back of my head, testing it, changing settings, and kind of just seeing how my theories play out in the game. And I do think that I am correct in this, and I'm sure of it enough to make a video on it, put it that way. But before we can go over why Battlefield 5's gunplay is, in my opinion, the worst in the franchise, we have to go back and play previous games to see how the gunplay worked from a mechanical standpoint, to have an understanding of why Battlefield 5's gunplay is objectively wrong in the way it functions. There are a lot of overlooked nuances, and I'm going to try to point them out to you as best I can. So, without further ado, let's jump in to Battlefield 4, and then we'll jump into Battlefield 1 and discuss how those systems work, how the mechanics differ between games. I'll explain some mechanics such as visual recoil and center point of aim and stuff like that. So, let's jump in. So, as you can see, we are in Battlefield 4's famous test range. Now, you might notice something very glaring. I have put two intersecting lines that show the exact screen center. This is very important for a later point with Battlefield 5's gunplay, but is also important for BF4 and BF1's gunplay. So, in Battlefield 4, the way this works is wherever you are aiming is screen center, even when you shoot. I'll do a full spray so you see. Even during a full spray, the point of aim is tied directly to screen center. Now, another thing that we'll explain later, this is completely unaffected by ADS FOV, as well as regular FOV. There is no added recoil, there's no deviation from screen center, and there's no visual recoil. Now, to explain visual recoil, let's hop over to Battlefield 1. Alright, so we're here in Battlefield 1, and the best way to describe or show visual recoil is with any sort of optical weapon, particularly the Ribby rolls. So what visual recoil is essentially lying to you. So as you'll see when I shoot here, the weapon is sporadically bouncing, but as you can see, the recoil is tied to screen center. So what it's actually doing is your sight is showing you one thing, but the point of aim, which is screen center, as you can see here, is actually where you're aiming. So that is what I mean when I say visual recoil, but as you can see here, it is still tied to screen center, which means whenever the screen center is over your enemy, that is what you're actually aiming at. You are going to hit them if your screen center is over them. Completely ignore what your weapon is telling you. Now, as you can see, this is also completely unaffected by ADS FOV, as well as regular FOV. Still tied to screen center, so does not matter. Now, let's talk about Battlefield 5 and why that game's gunplay system is so absolutely horrendous. So, let me fix this FOV before I get into it. So basically, a lot of people think Battlefield 1's gunplay is bad. Oh, then some people think Battlefield 4's gunplay is bad. Now, what Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 1 gunplay share is a system called spread. Now, essentially what spread is, well, the longer you shoot, the more inaccurate you get. And to reset that, you either shoot slower or burst. And people think they prefer Battlefield 5's system, but from an objective standpoint, BF1 and Battlefield 4's are far more controllable because Battlefield 5's gunplay is not only random, but they decoupled the point of aim from screen center, and I believe, and I'll try to demonstrate in this video, that recoil is also affected by FOV. So let's jump over to BF5 and I'll try to explain that. All right, so we are in Battlefield 5, and quick disclaimers before I get into explaining things. Battlefield 5's recoil works like this. So it's essentially a system called Battlefield 5 spread to recoil conversion. Basically what this does is it makes the recoil random, i.e. it's completely uncontrollable, and you will never be able to master spray control in this game ever, no matter how hard you try, no matter how much time you put in. Another thing, I mentioned I think FOV affects recoil. I just want to make very clear that I don't believe, and I'll prove this to you live right now, that FOV affects the amount of recoil. So I'm on 50 FOV, let's aim at this wall. Boom, get a reload in, and I'll switch to max FOV. As you can see, it'll be the exact same recoil. So, that's not what I'm saying, just wanted to clarify that for any people that might have misinterpreted what I was going to say. However, I do wholeheartedly believe that FOV affects your recoil in a very odd way in this game because of the way they went about designing the gunplay. So, when Battlefield 5 was a new game, it worked just like Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 1, where wherever your center screen was, I can see by the intersecting lines, wherever the center screen was, that is where you're aiming all the time. Now, for whatever reason, they decided to do probably one of the most sacrilegious things ever done in an FPS, and instead of tying point of aim to screen center, they tied point of aim to your weapon sight. So wherever your weapon sight is, that's where you're actually aiming. So it essentially adds sort of a second point to keep track of other than your screen center. Because what aiming is at a basic fundamental level is you're putting the screen center over somebody and shooting them. And changing that is stupid and should never be done. So how do I think FOV affects the gunplay in this game? So let me go and turn ADS FOV off right now. So what ADS FOV off does is whenever I zoom my weapon, I will zoom into 55 FOV. Now, because they decoupled it from screen center, zooming in to those movements on your screen is going to be quite jarring, and it's going to physically make it harder to control the same recoil. Try this yourself. Try playing on your normal FOV and then turn ADS FOV on, or you can just play on 50 FOV or something. Shoot the same weapon twice. I guarantee you the lower FOV will feel much, much harder to control the same recoil. And that's just, that's not good because it makes settings like ADS field of view quite literally competitively unviable, because even tiny deviations from screen center, because it's not attached or not tied to screen center, makes it really difficult to get super accurate place shots, especially in a game with random recoil. Now, how does that FOV come into this? So basically, zooming in or being closer, in parentheses, closer to your sight moving around is just literally going to make it more irritating to aim. I tend to play on 84 FOV. Let me turn ADS FOV on. I tend to play on 84 FOV with ADS FOV on. Now, what ADS FOV does, I mentioned it before, but basically, zoom in and the FOV doesn't change. You turn it off, you zoom into 55 FOV. So, I like doing this experiment because when I play on max FOV, for instance, I immediately notice that the recoil seems to be, quote-unquote, farther away, or the same movements appear to be smaller. Do you know what I mean? And because the point of aim is tied to your weapon's sight, any smaller you can make those movements look is actually affecting how it feels and how easy it is to hit things. And once again, I urge you to try this yourself, because I don't want to sound like some crazy fucking bat, right? Like I've talked to a lot of people. I've had a lot of people test this. Baranox, Exo, Zero Hour, basically all my teammates, you know, a lot of people on my stream, and they all come back and say, wow, like it really does make a difference. And I would just love to point out that you can avoid each and every single one of these stupid fucking problems by not messing with the fundamentals of FPS games and keeping the point of aim tied to screen center with recoil that is at bare minimum not random. Give me spread. Give me, I don't know, give me fucking anything other than spread to recoil conversion. But whatever you do, do not do what you did to Battlefield 5's gunplay. It is honestly disingenuous. This is a misrepresentation of players' aiming skills, and it should not be in video games. So, let me guys know what you think. Once again, I urge you to try this. If you like the video, hit the like button. If you really like the video, hit the subscribe button. I'll be going over Battlefield 2042's mechanics in depth, just like this video, and I hope this video opens some eyes as to why I hate Battlefield 5's gunplay so much. I have a lot of questions when I stream, like, oh, well, what's the problem? What's the problem? Well, now I have a video for you guys to watch, so, you know, instead of answering it on stream, I'm just going to link you guys the video. So, hey, I will see you guys on stream. I stream every single day at twitch.tv/enders. Link is in the description, and hopefully I will see you guys on November 19th now for the release of 2042, rather than October 22nd. So, I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.